Hello my friends and welcome back to another video where today we are going to be discussing another casting call for the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series and basically for the show anyways, and I'll explain that bit in a second. While also I'm going to be giving a major theory around this casting call after I've gone through the actual casting by BGT New Zealand. So yeah, stay tuned for that where I'm going to go through a theory I have behind this, but first let's get right into it. So yesterday BGT New Zealand put out a post saying urgent casting for major television series, apply now. Then they've said, do you look like this? Do you know anyone who looks like this? And as you can tell from an initial view, that is a black man of probably African descent, so they're probably looking for people who look like this. Then they've gone on to say urgent casting for a major television series shooting in Auckland. And I hope from what you can see now from what I have done in the past with Wayne Chi Yip and all that Untitled Amazon project stuff, and with Charlotte Brandstrom, and now with this, hopefully from that line alone you can tell this is for the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series, as I am sure that if BGT wanted to make a casting call for another show in Auckland, I don't think they would have said major television series, as that all of course have implications that this is for Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV series. I don't think I would see them doing it unless it was actually for the show, which I think it is, and it's probably just a way to say this is for the Lord of the Rings on Prime, but we can't actually say it is for Lord of the Rings on Prime. And also when I contacted them and inquired about it, all they said was, we are only looking for people who have very interesting and unusual looks, etc, etc. So yeah, that was what they said to me, so they didn't want to confirm nor deny. But I don't get why they said, if you're here regarding the Lord of the Rings post, implying that that post was for Lord of the Rings on Prime. But I digress. Anyway, so yes, so it looks like right now in New Zealand and for Amazon show, they are looking for people for African descent and probably who are black as well. So yeah, if you are in New Zealand and this does apply to you and you can apply, go for it. As another thing they've said, which is quite interesting, is that no experience necessary, and that will go on to my point, which I'm going to be discussing now. So I have a theory that this actor that they're trying to cast, or a person they're trying to cast, is actually meant to be a fill-in for a major star Lord of the Rings actor from the cast so far. But firstly I want to give some context. So this urgent casting call for the Lord of the Rings on Prime is actually, as I just said now, quote, urgent. And if they were looking for example 500 orcs or 300 elves extras, it wouldn't be classed as an urgent casting call, as these would be sorted out and done months beforehand to schedule everyone in. So I think this casting call is just for one person, or maybe one or two people who look like this gentleman in the pictures I'm showing on screen. So I think only one or two or even a few people are needed. So this isn't a major casting call for like, oh, we need as many people possible that look like they could be an elf. So this is just specifically if you know someone who looks like this person, we need them urgently and right now. So yes, now this is why I'm thinking that this is actually, and also another thing is that no experience necessary. So if we put that all together, I think that this is actually, or this person that Amazon are trying to, or not Amazon, I should say BGT Media are trying to cast for Amazon's show is in fact a fill-in for Sir Lenny Henry. So you might be wondering, how did I come to this conclusion? Well, so I think that Sir Lenny Henry hasn't actually been in New Zealand for quite a while now. In fact, maybe I could say not even this year. Because firstly, so I think whoever this casting call is for, maybe just for not to replace him. I'm not saying this, no way am I saying Sir Lenny Henry's been recast, but maybe to fill in for him in New Zealand. As firstly, I've actually wanted to talk about this for quite a while now, because there's been so many signs that Sir Lenny Henry isn't in New Zealand for covering so many months. And firstly, we're starting off with this article from Express and Star, and there's also some in the Birmingham Evening Mail as well, saying that My Name is Leon adaptation being filmed in Birmingham starring Sir Lenny Henry. And then it says that in Birmingham, this adaptation, Sir Lenny Henry will be just doing this thing, and I think he's executive producer of that as well. So yeah, that's happening from, I think the date of that article was March the 2nd, so since then. But then also I would like to point out that in another article I found this, Lenny Henry is also currently busy writing semi-autobiographical drama Three Little Birds, set in the 1950s. So that is quite a lot to have on your plate right now, to be first of all in New Zealand, but then co-executive and being a star in the show in Birmingham, and also now writing your own semi-autobiographical show. So that's quite a lot. Another things that prove this is that on his Twitter, he's written backstage in rehearsals for tonight's show, then March 19th, and then I'm not sure which show this is, but I know from a friend that this was actually a live show, so shown on TV. Then comedians practicing for opera on March 19th, and as you can see, that's live. Then David Tennant just before, then of course Comic Relief, the #1 thing that he is known for, and that was live in studio, as you can see on him on set, and you can see him live there as well. So since March 19th and before that, because that article's from March the 2nd, Sir Lenny Henry has not been in New Zealand. But now let's do some quick maths as well. So during January, during the pandemic, not during the we're currently us in the pandemic, but during that time when I think there were still some lockdown measures in New Zealand, could we have seen, so if Lenny Henry would have flown in December, because we know that filming for episodes 3 to whatever they are going to be in season 1 begun in late December, the last week of December. So if Sir Lenny Henry came in then, he would have to have a 2-week quarantine, then he would have had probably some time, then he would have to have another 2-week quarantine when leaving New Zealand to the UK. That's already 4 weeks, so basically a month. So if you take March, that would just be February. So January and February, there could have been the chance where he was in New Zealand for January and February, but I doubt it, because that would have been quite hard to do. But still, I could be wrong, so that's just my theory, that I think that's the reason why they've said no acting, or no acting experience necessary. This is because that maybe they need to do some more shots or maybe reshoots, but Sir Lenny Henry is of course not in New Zealand currently, so that maybe they're doing some back shots or shots of maybe him on a horse or something, and they need someone of that posture, of course, of that skin tone as well. So yes, so they might need someone to fill in for his role while he's gone. Maybe they need him sitting at a council so they can show a shot of him from the side or from the back, not showing his face. So yeah, that is why I think adding that together with having to have a lenient schedule, and also they aren't casting like 100 of these people, they need 1 right now and it's urgent. So yeah, that's my theory. I could easily be wrong. I've given all the evidence I can to try and support this. Let me know in the comments below what you think, but I think it's quite obvious now that he has not been in New Zealand, and there could be a link between there and there could not be. But that's just me, and I was talking to another Lord of the Rings on Prime account as well. We put this together. But thank you guys for watching, I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, but until the next video my friends, goodbye.